Hey, Jimmy, you've obviously played through it, but how's your ankle holding up after all this?
A little bit sore. I'll be okay. Some treatment, and get ready to go again. I think I gotta be ready to go. So we'll see how it feels tomorrow, but I'm gonna be fine.
Next question, Mateo Mayorga.
Hey, Jimmy, you've talked about how every night this team can feature a different star, but now in the midst of uncertainty regarding the status of your teammates, Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, do you feel it's incumbent upon you to take more of a role scoring the ball?
Just take what the game gives me for the most part. I still have a lot of belief in all of my teammates. I will continually play that way. But yeah, maybe so. Maybe try to score a little bit more, but I still got to make sure that everybody else is getting their touches and getting the shots that they need, because we've been playing this way all year long, and that's our formula to success.
Rachel?
Part of what got away from you guys in the second quarter was the rebounding, and obviously when they play both their bigs. How do you battle that?
We just got to be tougher. We got to put up more of a fight. I don't think that we did that. And then it doesn't help whenever we don't make shots. It's been that way all year long. Whenever we start to miss a couple shots, we don't do what we're supposed to do on the other end. I think we should always think about letting our defense, for sure, our rebounding, start it all for us, and then, hopefully we start to make shots.
Malika?
I know he's not your favorite Dragic brother, but you're very close with Goran. To watch him kind of go down like that, to fight to stay out there, to want to come back in the game, to not be able to come back in the game, how do you support him? How do you let him lean on you right now?
Just let him know that I and we are here for him. We know how much he wants to win, how much he wants to go to war and battle with us. And obviously we love him for that, and we want him out there with us. But whatever the doc tell him to do, that's what he got to do. I understand that he wants to go out there and compete, and obviously we want him out there with us, but he got to take care of himself first.
Next question, Manny Navarro.
Hey, Jimmy. K-Nun went in there and played really well for you guys with those 18 points. Just how encouraging is that, especially for a guy who's been waiting and hungry and dying to get in there?
That's what he does. He stayed ready. He's always working on his game. And he's in it to win it. Whenever his number and name's called, he's ready to play. He knows the schemes, and it looks like he's going to be in this rotation. I sure hope so, because he definitely showed what he can do on the big stage tonight.
Thank you.
Next question, Nick Friedel.
Jimmy, you guys have prided yourself all season as being a no-excuse team. What do you feel like you need to say to the rest of the group now, knowing that you got two of your main guys down, at least for a little bit?
Nothing. We talk about how damn near perfect.
I think you guys can actually go ahead on side.
Quote, this is AD on Bam. Bam is a great player. Reminds us a lot of Jokic. He handles that ball and their energy guy. Two Kentucky guys. Coach Cal texted me and called me about that. Going to be fun. Whoever wins that matchup probably wins the series. Rob, that's a direct quote from AD. Do you agree?
No.
Whoever wins that matchup.
No, not at all. Because one guy has on his side one of the best players ever to play this game. The other guy has a couple all-stars.
Yeah.
And so it's a big difference in that. And I know AD is a key and is vital to this series, but if he falters, he has LeBron James to back him up. Bam, if you think about Bam is not even a third option, sometimes a third or fourth option. So he's not one of those guys you really have to worry about. He's going to get his, don't get me wrong, he's a great player, and I hate to say that by any Kentucky Wildcat, but he's a great player, but it's a big difference when you got LeBron James on your side and Jimmy Butler, who both I love, but LeBron James is on a whole nother level.
I'll spin it a little differently to big game. Do you like that AD's putting that on him? Winning this matchup, we win the series. Because Rob makes a great point. He's got LeBron James next to him.
It's hard to accept that, I hear what AD is saying, maybe it's a motivational thing, I'm not sure. But yeah, there are definitely other pieces. And Rob's already pointed out the most important one is LeBron. And also, you have guys that, have some experience. Danny Green, guys have been there before. So, yeah, it's going to be an important matchup. They both bring different talents. AD brings more talent, Bam brings a different set of skills that you have to be aware of. You have to match his effort and stuff. But I think AD should win that battle. As you just noted in the graphic there, Bam goes after the boards consistently every night. He doesn't have like 2 rebounds here, 3 rebounds here. He goes offense. So if you're ready to work with him or outwork him, you should win the battle.
Yeah, Bam said if there's a moment in the series where the Lakers outwork us, then they're going to win the game. He said they have to outwork the Lakers every single time. Rob, AD's been big time, and he's delivered on the big stage up to this point. What will you be looking for in Game 1 from AD?
Hopefully he will learn from his last playoff series where you have to be aggressive. You know, for you to go, 8 quarters, you only get 5 rebounds? That's not going to happen. You got to think of what Bam does. Bam keeps a foot in the paint. You want to have a foot in the paint when you don't have the rock. You don't want to float around the outside and shoot threes. You want to be aggressive. You want to be in attack mode because just think about this. If you're in attack mode and you get Bam in foul trouble, the Heat is in trouble because they don't have another big that can come in and support them like Bam does. Bam does, like Bam has said plenty of times, and the Miami Heat have said plenty of times, he's their heart, he's their soul, and he's their energy. If you can be aggressive and attack him, get him in foul trouble, you know, that lane is open.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you got to take one of the monsters out. You know, and I think we have 3 guys that are capable of doing that, especially when Dwight comes in the game. You know, it's a 7-game series. You want to chop him up, wear him down a little bit, put pressure on whoever's coming in to replace him. Meanwhile, you're going to have a concerted effort against Butler and Dragic. You know, those guys are going to be Crowder. You can't forget about some of those guys. Iguodala has plenty experience. So the pressure really is going to be on Caruso, Kuz, those guys, Pope. If they can sustain and, you know, mitigate, you know, some of those wing players and some of those guys who are going to be on the perimeter, they'll have a better chance as well.
Phil, let's take a look at this. This is AD and what he's averaging in his playoff career, and it's crazy when you see who he's with. 29.6 points per game. 25 games you had to have played in the playoffs. Allen Iverson, 29.7. MJ, Michael Jordan, 33 and a half. He's in some rare air up there.
People ask me, if you pick in a schoolyard game, just pick up. It's a pickup game. AI's on my team. I'm telling you, the first 2 guys are on my team.
Rob, you taking those 2 guys too?
Not AI. Oh, you got to realize on the playground, there's different rules. Let him come in the hole he want to. And I got Shaquille O'Neal on my team.
You got Shaq on the playground.
On my team.
You got Shaq in a playground game?
He's sitting on the sideline like this.
By the way, those numbers are impressive. Straight ahead, we'll check in with David Medeman from Live Inside the Bubble. Dave McTenna joined.
I know his focus, but then you go to guys like AC Fresh, who, think about this, AC Fresh is probably not even supposed to be in the NBA. Nobody ever thought he would be in the NBA, but he fought hard to get this position. Now he's in position to be on the biggest stage and win the ultimate goal. That's the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
I mean, you won a national championship, but here you are in 84 in your first finals. 85, you're in the finals. 87, the nerves, game 1, were they the same? Different.
Well, you know, a championship game is a championship game. You know, I remember in 82 in college, you know, the nerves, they weren't that different. The stakes were a little higher. You know, you have a little bit more pressure on you at the NBA level. You're under the microscope, so I think that pressure is warranted. But for somebody like AD, not to say he didn't have a chance in New Orleans, but his chances weren't that great in New Orleans. Now he's supposed to win. It's a big difference than, you know, having a chance and you're supposed to win. So I think it's a little bit more pressure on him, but thank goodness he has the king, you know,
by his side
to kind of ease his mind, get him ready, and have him know what to expect in the finals.
Big game. And Rob, I want you to take a look at the Larry O'Brien Trophy we have right there. Rob, obviously you've held up the trophy 7 times. James, this happens to be from the Lakers, 1988. You were the MVP in that series. Rob said, you don't need to bring in any of my 7.
No, you know, MVP, triple dub, you know, that's the best right there for this guy right here.
It was a big year. Before you guys hit the triple dub, that was the first time in like 19, 20 years.
MVP, James.
That had been back-to-back. So mission accomplished.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals will tip off at 6. For the latest, let's check in with Lakers reporter Mike Trudell. Michael, It's the finals.
Oh, man, it's the finals. So my first year with the Lakers was 2008. They won the title that year later in 2009 and then repeated the next year. And I thought, okay, yeah, this is what it's like to work for the Lakers, of course, right? That's what the franchise has done forever. And then I think that Laker fans here learned what it's like for much of the rest of the NBA, except that the expectation is always constantly there for the purple and gold ever since they moved to Los Angeles, and rightfully so. And it's hard to understand if you're not here in this little bubble. Now, speaking